Hey everybody, this is Drew Dinkmeyer, aka Dinkpiece. I'm one of the DraftKings pros, and we're going to do a video today talking about some NBA tips to help you step up your daily fantasy NBA game. NBA season is in full swing. We've got lots of contests going on at DraftKings, and we want to give you some of the tips that us pros use when we're making our lineups. So we've got 2 tips for you today from myself. There'll be some more tips from others on the DK Pro team, but the 2 tips that I'm going to get into today, the first one is just talking about matchups. You want to find the best matchups for your fantasy players to be able to exploit and take advantage and get those fantasy points. And the easiest way to do that is to use some of the tools that DraftKings is always providing you while constructing your lineups. So the first thing that you can do when you're constructing your lineups is hover over that defensive matchup tab that DraftKings has. The whole column just sorts. You've got green highlights for the best matchups, you've got some red highlights for the poorer matchups, and you want to focus on taking players against teams in favorable matchups. So try to make sure when constructing your lineups to get as many of those green shades in your lineup. Those are the best matchups for the individual players. The second tip that I want you to focus on is opportunities, and this is what we focus on in all sorts of daily fantasy sports. In the NFL, you're looking for targets for wide receivers, or pass attempts for quarterbacks, or rushing attempts for running backs. In the NBA, we want possessions, and the statistic that's used to measure possessions is called pace. Pace is a statistic that can be found on ESPN.com, NBA.com, lots of different sites. But what it does is it just measures the number of possessions per game that each team is playing. The more possessions, the more opportunities for fantasy points. So you want to try to find teams that play at faster paces, and you want to try to pick players from games that are going to be at faster paces. This gives you more opportunities for fantasy points because you're getting more possessions. So those are the 2 tips we've got today. We've got plenty more coming from the rest of the DK Pros team here on DK TV, and you can also check out more tips on the playbook.